are you, my friends? In this video, I'm presenting part 12 of basic math terms. This series you can find in the playlist called Basic Math Terms. So this is part 12 about functions. Let's see, in this part, I will present around 10 terms. I will try to explain these 10 words: relation, function, vertical line test, domain, range, minimum, maximum, etc. Now, what is a relation? It's so important to know in math the meaning of relation. Relation is set of ordered pairs, or simply set of points. So we have a point, 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 point. If we put these points like this, we get a straight line. This is a curve. This is a circle. This is a V shape. So every graph here you can see is considered as set of points. Remember this word, set of points or set of ordered pairs. So we can say one word in math, it's a relation. Relation between X and Y. So we can have straight lines, we can have parabolas, circles, etc. So any graph is a relation. Now, remember we are reaching the function here. So the function, we can see here the definition, a function is a relation. Function is a relation. But not every relation is a function. So if I go back a little here, this is a relation, 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 relation. Some of these are functions, some are not functions, remember. So let's see now what is a function. Function from set A called the domain, so you have to have a set A. Usually it will be the X values here. And then to a set B called the range. The range will be the Y values. So a function is a relation rule that assigns to each element in A, this is the set A here, exactly one element in the set B. In the set B, the elements are called images. So when we say the range, you can say Y values, you can say set of images. This is the range, this is also the range, which is the same. Or simply you can say the output. Now, it is helpful to think of a function as a machine. So I put here the little diagram to help you understand or visualize the function. So the function you can put here, the input is the domain, all the values of the X, and the output are all the values of the Y. That's one example here of a function. F of X is equal X squared plus 2X minus 7. You can have thousands and millions of functions. So this is a simple function, quadratic function we call it. You can put X here. If you put 0 here for the X, you get minus 7 in the Y here. You can put any value for X. You can try. Put X equals 1, X equals minus 2, X equals half, X equals 4. Then you get a Y value. Every X and Y will make one point on the graph if you need to graph the function. So that is a function. Now in this slide here, I put 5 different functions. Remember in this video, part 12, I'm explaining only the terms, basic math terms. Now, if you need to know about the functions and the details and the graphs, and etc., you have to see other videos, please. Maybe you can see algebra course, maybe, and then you can learn more. So linear function, when we say this, I put here only 5 types, just as an example. Linear function. Linear function, see the word linear function, it's big name here. It is a straight line. See, there is an equation. Another function, we can call it quadratic function. the graph will be a parabola. We call this parabola. See this one, if I go back a little, please, this one here, x squared plus 2x minus 7, because the highest power is 2 on the x. If you graph this yellow function here, it will be like that. It will be quadratic function and parabola. That's another function here, cubic function. It's more difficult to graph. And then we have logarithmic functions. We have exponential functions. We have sine function. And also remember we have, this is in trigonometry or pre-calculus. So we have sine function, we have cosine function, we have tangent function, cotangent function, secant function, and cosecant functions. So we have many functions. Now, what is a vertical line test? VLT, vertical line test. When you have any graph, by looking only, by using your eyes, draw an imaginary vertical line. See vertical line, just draw vertical line, draw vertical line. If it cuts in 1 point only, maximum 1 point, so we know this graph is a function. If the vertical line cuts in 2 points or more, it is not function, so not a graph of a function. So if it is not function, remember, we call it relation. So that's a vertical line test. So easy to check. Just get any graph you like and then draw a vertical line. You can test the graph by the vertical line. So we call it vertical line test. Now the domain, to stress the idea again, domain is the set of all real numbers for which the expression is defined. The set of all real numbers. I will give you, in another word, simple way to define the function values of x that have images. See, I remember when I told you we have a function, if I go back a little, if I have a function here, every x you put, this is in the domain, one value in the domain. Domain are values of x. Remember, domain, you can write it down, domain, values of x. The range, values of y. Domain, values of x. So every x you can put in the function, it will be in the domain, one part, one number in the domain. So let's take a simple example here. Suppose we have a function like this, f of x 1 over x minus 2. Suppose I need the domain. Somebody say, find the domain of this, please. Now I can put x 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 1 or 0 or 100. Now the question, can I put 2 here? 1 over 2 minus 2? No, because 1 over 0 is undefined. It is not a real number, 1 over 0. So I cannot put 2. So if you need the domain, you can write the domain is R minus the number 2. Or in English, you can say the set of all real numbers except 2. Because 2, we cannot put in this function. There is no image for 2. There is no y. There is no output. If you put input 2, there is no output. Okay, that's the domain now. Now the range are the set of values of y. Set of images also, you can say the range. I put here nice examples. Suppose we have a graph and I will find 4 things from this graph. Let's find the domain. So you can look here and see the domain are the values of the x. These are the values of the x starting from minus 8, but I see a hole here, so it is not included. So the values of x will continue until the 12. So minus 8 open, 12 closed. So we call this the domain. All the numbers, even the fractions. See, we cannot go to 14 or 15 or 16 because the graph stops at the 12. That's the domain. Now in the range, I go to the y. See the y like this, you go to the y. Domain, you go like this. You go like this in the x. So the range will be from minus 4 until the 7. Even 7 closed because we have here many points like minus 5, 7, minus 4, 7, minus 6, 7, etc. So 7 is included, remember. Even if this point is open, 7 is included from other points. Now the minimum, if I say find the minimum, the smallest value in the range. So when you find the range, easy, you can answer these questions. So the minimum here, the minimum value in the y. We don't ask about minimum value in the x. So when we say find the minimum, just go directly to the range and find the minimum value. So the answer here is minus 4. Find the maximum, the largest value in the range also. So it will be number here 7. Now, x-intercept and y-intercept. Very important items here, or words or terms in mathematics. If you have a graph here, see we have a graph here, an example, another example. Sometimes the graph will cut the x-axis or intersects the x-axis. So in this way, we can see at this graph here, it intersects the x-axis at 3 points. You see 3 points. So there are 3 x-intercept here. And in this one, we have 1 y here, the y-intercept. So to find x-intercept, let y 0, because the x-intercept are points on the x-axis. On the x-axis, we have y 0. So let y equal 0, then solve for x. Always you can do that for any function, any graph, any relation even, x-intercept, put y equals 0, solve for x. Now y-intercept, same idea here. The y-intercept are the values of the y where the graph intersects the y-axis. See these points. So in this case, x is 0. So to find y-intercept, let x equal 0, solve for y. So let x equal 0, solve for y. Easy to do. Now let's see question number 1. Please, you can pause the video here to answer. Find the maximum and find the minimum of the given graph. Now you can also, if you like, you can practice, you can find the domain, you can find the range, you can find anything you like. So let's find the minimum and the maximum. Okay, easy to find the minimum maximum. As I told you, find the range. So what is the maximum here? The maximum is the maximum number and the y. So it is 3. So the minimum number minus 6 here. So if I say find the range, this is the range from minus 6 to 3. Domain will be closed, minus 4 to 5 open. That's the domain if you want to find domain. Let's see question number 2. Find the domain and the range of this function whose graph is given below. Look at this nice graph. And find, please, the domain and the range. You can pause the video for a few seconds and then find the domain and the range. Ready? Let's go to the answer to check your solution. As we can see, domain, remember, domain, I go to the values of the x. So it is here, values of the x. Open, see, minus 2. In this value of the x, it is a whole. This is a solid, closed point. So from minus 2 until 3. See, this is the domain, open. Minus 2, 2, 3, closed. That's the domain, the values of the x. Now the range, it will go from minus 1 closed until the 8 here closed. So it will take all the values of the y, all the values of the y from minus 1 until the 8. That's the range. Let's see question number 3. Boy, big graph here. Given the graph, find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. You see, this is a function. By looking how many x-intercept. See, I know the graph here will intersect the x-axis at this point 3, also at this point 1, and also it is touching here, tangent at -2. Also, we can consider that x-intercept. So this is a point, this is a point, this is a point. On the y, see, it has only one number there. All right. So the x-intercepts, see the x-intercept, we can write it as number and then y0, -2, 0, 1, 0, 3, 0. So there are 3 x-intercept in this question. Y-intercept, 0, -12. It's one number here, 1 point. Coordinates 0, -12. Okay, good. Now, I will leave for you another graph, see, nice graphs. Find the maximum and minimum as practice. Practice number 1. Practice number 2. Find the domain and the range of this function, the graph is given. And practice number 3, find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. And now you can find the answers here in practice number 1, 2, 3. Thank you for watching, and then I hope I can see you in another video with another topic. Thank you very much.